Hello. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I wanted to discuss what we think is most valuable in our lives. I certainly know what that is for myself. I don't mind being completely transparent. I do place God first and foremost in my life. And I believe that because that is so important to me, I need to make sure that I'm doing something on a routine daily basis, very intentional, to connect with God. I recognize that not everyone shares my faith, completely understand that, but I do believe that everybody has a core set of values that they hold very close to them, or something that they're truly focused on at whatever stage of life that they're in. It could be something as far as your faith, or a belief system, or even going a different route and talking about something that you're trying to learn. Maybe you're trying to learn about a different way of eating, or about a different country, or something that you just place a lot of value in the moment. A good example, I think, would be for someone who might want to move from one country or to another. I personally think that it would be of value to learn as much as you possibly can about that country and about that culture in a very intentional way, so that when you're there, you're engrossed in the experience of the culture and the country. So it doesn't have to be this video, what I'm going to show you with my journal, doesn't have to be centered around faith, although that is what works for me. It could certainly be centered around anything that you needed to apply very focused attention to. So what I want to do today is show you guys how I use my Filofax A5 Saffiano as my faith journal, and how I believe it keeps me really connected with my faith, and how I believe that it keeps me very connected with God. And I think that because I do this very intentionally, that it keeps me very focused throughout the day on God, on my connection with Him. And so I wanted to be able to share with you guys exactly what it is I do. And I don't have every section filled out, of course, and some of it I may have removed so that I'm not sharing some personal thoughts and feelings with you guys. But you'll be able to get the general idea of how I use this particular Filofax as a journal. So let's get started. Okay, so as we open her up, the very first thing that you're going to see, it looks very simple. I only have this here because I think it's cute and it goes along with the colors, and of course that's my initial there. This is actually a sticky pad. I haven't had to use that yet, but I could certainly see how it might come into use if I am taking notes through studying, or if I'm in church. But on the very front of this is very simply the numbers 1 through 6, and that is because on this side, these are the original Filofax tabs, dividers, and they are labeled 1 through 6. So it just tells me what I'm using each different section for. And so in this particular setup, I have it, of course, very directly related to church and my faith. So that's why as I go through here, it'll make a little bit more sense. Over on this side, this is my vision board. If you've watched a couple of my videos, you know that I am a big believer in vision boards, and I do actually intend on sharing the reason why I do that in an upcoming video. But this is my vision board for my personal spiritual life. That way, every time I open up my faith journal, it's right here in my face, and I know that these are the things that I'm actually aspiring to for myself. So it is just the fly leaf that comes with the Filofax, and just based upon the nature of that, I don't have to laminate my piece of paper with my vision board because it tends to stick to the fly leaf. But so that's my vision board. And then opening it up to section 1, this is the things that I am praying about. So I use this very specifically to remind me of the things that are most important to keep in the front of my mind whenever I am in my prayer time. I'm going to pause for just a second, because one of the things that you might notice, I don't know if I can kind of show you there, you notice like the uneven edges here. I actually had these pages in a leather-bound journal, and I decided I didn't want to use that journal anymore, but I really liked the quality of the paper, so I just took them out of that. I unbound the journal and put those papers in here. So anyway, I use this section just as either keeping a list for the things that I want to keep in my prayer life, or actually sometimes I enjoy writing down my prayers specifically to God. But that's what that section is for. This section is for items that I want to read, or notes that I may have taken on some of the books that I read, and I am, of course, a very avid reader, so that's what that section is for. And this might seem a little odd to some, but I actually enjoy just copying scripture. I'm actually, even though that says Psalms, I'm actually in Proverbs right now, but I actually enjoy just copying scripture down. I believe for me, that's one of the best ways for me to remember and place those things of importance within my heart. I tend to remember better whenever I read it and write it, and so this is one of the things that I do. It's actually kind of odd, because I started out doing this. I was going through a pretty stressful time at work, and I found that when I came home from work and I just started writing scripture, that it helped me to come back to center a little bit more quickly. But that's actually how that started, and I've just kept it up because I found it to be really valuable. This particular section is where I'm going to write notes from the sermons that I hear, whether at church or online. This is a section if I'm actually in the midst of studying a particular topic. This is where my notes are going to go on that particular topic. And this is my gratitude journal. I actually had my gratitude journal in this leather-bound system, in the leather-bound journal that I took these pages out of. And it was kind of funny. One of the things for me, which is one of the reasons why I put this particular journal together, is because if I bought a journal from wherever, Barnes & Noble's, Walmart, wherever it was, I would usually start out with a purpose in mind, that being a gratitude journal or just journaling or writing poetry, or I would have a specific purpose in mind for that journal. And then time would go along and I would shift my idea of what I wanted to be writing about, and I didn't want to use that same journal for a different reason. And so I found that it would be best just to put it in a ring-bound system, so that I had these little loose pieces of paper and I could just take them in and out as I please. But that's what that is for. I do my gratitude there, and if I skip times of doing my gratitude, it doesn't make me feel so bad because it's not in that leather, in that bound journal. Anyway, on the very back section here, I keep this there just to keep the pages from getting bent. But the very back section is just this clear sleeve. And this is where I put my empty offering envelopes from church. And then once, that way I can actually fill that out and have it ready to go, and slide it right up here, so that when I get in church, all I have to do is open up my binder and it's ready to go. I don't have to worry about filling that out there. So one of the things that works really well for me as far as keeping me connected is having this with me. It's all in one place. Everything that I do on with a very intentional plan to stay connected with God. And this is my method. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, now that you've seen that, I'm hoping that you find that of value, and that maybe there's something in your life that you need to have very focused attention on, and maybe something of this sort might be of benefit to you. My hope is that you found that there's value in the content that I showed you, and if you, of course, like the setup, or if you'd like to hear about another topic, I would love to hear your comments or to read your comments below. So once again, I'm Brandy, and welcome to my channel. Thank you.